Hello friends, welcome back to Honey Acres Homestead. Now 2 months ago we made a video that showed you all of our plans and dreams for our homestead, and it kind of showed you an aerial view of our homestead and mapped out what we were going to do, where we were going to do it, and we kind of talked about our reasons behind these projects. Well, it's been 2 months now, and I thought it was about time for a progress report. So why don't you walk with me around our homestead and I'll show you the things that we've been working on here in the last 2 months. The first big accomplishment and big project that was completed here on our homestead was this retaining wall that I'm standing in front of. We did not do this retaining wall ourselves. We did hire someone to do this. It's about 105 feet long and it's pretty high and pretty substantial. It's a pretty substantial wall. We thought that we would hire someone who actually knew what they were doing instead of us trying to tackle it ourselves and getting about halfway through and realizing we were in over our heads. So we are so glad that we hired somebody to do this. He did a fantastic job, and this wall is going to do a lot for our property. It is going to help with drainage. There is a drain behind the wall, so it'll direct water away from our house. Our house is just right below the wall on the slope, so water was really pooling up, coming down this hill and pooling up behind our house. The ducks loved it. They played in it every time it rained, but this will help to control the water that's coming up to the foundation of our house. Also, it allows us to level up the slope up there so that we can put in, we're thinking maybe an orchard or do something up there on a leveler space. So this wall, besides being beautiful, is really important for defining this space and also with water control. So this is a really big, nice thing to check off of that to-do list. Several months ago, before we even had the clearing company out to clear our land, I showed you a before picture. So I just want to show you, this is on our back steps, what it looks like now. I'll show you the before picture and then compare that to what it looks like now. It's really a dramatic transformation. Now, unfortunately, at this point, that really nice big retaining wall is our only project that's really completely finished. All of our other projects that we've been working on are just in different stages of development, this being one of them. This is the retaining wall, and Peter is doing this himself. He's doing an awesome job. And this is the retaining wall that is going to help define our terraced garden area. So we have the upper layer right there. It drops down to this layer I'm standing on right now. And Peter has actually ordered and had delivered lots of garden soil that we're starting to lay down and prepare the ground here where I'm standing. So this is under development right now. This is under construction. We are hoping to have this done in the near future. We are still hopeful to get some plants in the ground and see how they do. So this is one of the things that we're actively working on. I walked down here to the woods in front of our house, and I'm actually standing in the site of our first RV pad as we come down this future road. Where I'm standing is going to be one RV, and then you might be able to see some white pipe sticking out of the ground back there. There's going to be 3 altogether. What we've been able to do in this area, besides removing the trees that we needed to remove, is we had the septic tank installed, and the septic lines run to each RV spot. We had a company come out, and it was amazing to watch. They worked so quickly, and they just dug this labyrinth of trench and ran these lines in it so quickly, and now it's done. We have our septic tank system in place for our RV pads. The nice man who did the RV pads, he brought a huge bulldozer, and he, out of the kindness of his heart, decided he was going to level our RV pads for us. So that was awesome and so helpful. We are so grateful to him. So this is a good step towards getting these developed. Now we still have to run electric, we still have to run water, and we still have to make sure that we have nice level graveled RV pads, as well as a convenient way to come in and out and access these. So it's still under development, still a lot of things to do, but at least we're moving that direction. What does it look like, Timmy?
It looks like a big fat hole.
Is it super deep? Wow, look at that. Pretty impressive, huh? They did that super fast.
Maybe it's too.
I don't think it's too deep. I think these guys know what they're doing. As I'm walking away from these RV pads, I'm walking on the route, or the route, however you say it, that the road will go through these woods so that we have a nice wraparound drive for the RVs. As I'm walking through here, it rained yesterday and it's so squishy. So this is going to be one of those things that we have to probably bring in a lot of gravel and really compact it so that we don't have issues getting through here even if it does rain. So now I'm walking across the woods in the front of our house from the RV pad to the other side near our driveway, and this is going to be the site of Peter's dream pond. So he went ahead and started digging it out a little bit, mostly just to get a visual picture of where it was going to go and how big, but it still has a lot of work to develop it, and he has to do some research to see what's the best material to use for it. Is he going to put down a liner? Is he going to put down rock? How can we keep it clean looking and keep the water from leaking out? And then he has to develop the ecosystem, because eventually he does want to put crappie in it. So let me show you what we've done so far, what he has done so far in his pond. And it's pretty exciting to picture what it will look like, hopefully in the near future. So this is the hole that will eventually be a pond. We're pretty excited because yesterday we had some gravel delivered for, I think, the retaining wall that Peter's working on. And the man that owns the company that delivered the gravel, he saw this pond area and he took an interest in it and said that he wants to start a business doing ponds, and he was hoping that he could do work on this one and we could work together, that this could be one of his first ponds that he could use to then show people what he could do as one of the examples of his work. He's talking about putting in a beach area and just making it look beautiful. So I'm not sure if this partnership will happen, but it's really nice to have people interested in our property and wanting to work together. It's really, really awesome and exciting. So I hope that it works out for him to be involved. If not, Peter will do the work himself, and I'm sure it will be beautiful. Here's the lovely driveway that Peter put in. It extends from our original driveway and it works back up here to the back of our property. So it's been a great addition, and we're looking forward to the whole wraparound driveway being completed. So the driveway brought me back up here to the back side of our property, all the way to our back property line. Now, we have been working on this project for about a week, and I have to say, we haven't been doing it wholeheartedly most of the time because it's just a big, daunting project. It's one of those projects that just kind of wears you out. So this is 480 feet of property line fencing between us and our neighbor that has a whole bunch of cows. When we moved in, this fence was mostly in disrepair or completely gone. Maybe there was a couple little strands of barbed wire every now and then, but the cows were coming across, and we would find evidence of cows coming across. There's the evidence. Apparently they wanted to see the septic tank system too. And also this fence was not keeping out coyotes. It was not going to keep out deer. It was not going to keep our dogs and our chickens and our goats. It wasn't doing anything for us, so we knew it needed to be tackled. What we did is we rented a skid steer, and during the time when we were working on the fence, we rented an auger attachment to go to the skid steer. Now originally when we first dug fence posts, we did it with the good old-fashioned hand diggers, and then the second time we did it, we rented a 2-man auger, and that was a little better. And then at our last house, we got this thing called an easy auger, which drilled the holes like butter, and it was actually small enough to tow behind a car, and it was really cool. This time we used the skid steer and the auger, and obviously that was the best. It was so awesome. We drilled, I think, 81 holes, and it just went so fast. We just zipped down the line because Peter had already cleared the fence line of any trees and anything that would be in the way. So we drilled the 81 holes. Then we needed to put the posts in, and the posts needed concrete. We went to the store so many times and loaded up with cement. I think we used over 120 bags of cement, and it was a lot of back and forth, depleting our local hardware stores of concrete. So at this point, we have all the posts set in concrete. We have the ones that we need to be braced. We have those braced. And we went back and forth, should we run just a regular wire fence or should we run electric? And we decided on running electric. We have this much experience running electric. So this is a big learning experience for us, as we are planning to do 6 wires that will reach up to the top. So when it is all finished, it'll be a 6-foot tall electric fence. That means no cows, no deer, no coyotes are coming in, and we can use this fence for our goats. So we can use it as a back fence, and our goat area can be extended and be bigger. So our animals will stay in, other animals and wild animals will stay out. This will be fantastic. We hope to have the electric part of it installed within the next, hopefully 2 days. I'm saying 2 days. I'm hoping it's 2 days because we want to be done. Some of these projects like this just kind of drag on. But when we are tempted to be discouraged and tempted to think, oh, it's never going to get done, we're never going to reach these goals that we've made, it's really important to look back and see, you know what? We've been able to accomplish quite a lot. And that is a really good source of encouragement, to see that you feel like you're working so much and you can actually see that you are getting somewhere. You are completing those things off of that to-do list. And some jobs, such as the fence, are such big jobs that you almost have to have like a to-do list for your to-do list items. For example, with this one, it's like, okay, we got the holes drilled. Whew, that's one thing done. Okay, we got the posts in the ground. That's another thing done. So breaking things down into sizable chunks that you can see that progress and fight that discouragement when you still have a lot ahead of you, that's been really helpful for me, at least. Okay, there's one more thing that I saved to the end, because for us, it was kind of like the fireworks finale of this whole progress report. We have eliminated probably 80 to 90% of our burn piles. The huge, ugly, nasty, mean-looking piles of wood that was left over from clearing our land are almost gone. This was so important. It was so good for our hearts to have them not be there, because they were so huge and so intimidating, and just moving those trees was difficult. So what Peter ended up doing is he rented a skid steer during that time and a grapple attachment so he could kind of pull the burn pile apart. Then what he did is he separated trees that would be good for firewood, cut them with his chainsaw, and we split those. And then he also rented a chipper for a lot of like small stuff that we could just chip and get rid of. Anything that was left over, he consolidated into a pile and we burnt it with lots of gas and lots of big flames and lots of fun. Our kids absolutely loved this process, and honestly, who doesn't love a huge raging fire? It is so awesome. But our kids were covered in soot for like 2 days. It was really great. Now we have a cleared area and we don't have to have that hang over our heads anymore. So the burn piles are gone. On top of these projects and these things that we've been doing, we've also been busy in the bird department. We've gotten started, we're about 2 months into growing out some white American Brisset chickens that we've had in the past. They are an awesome meat chicken. We also have some turkeys. We just hatched some ducks the other day. And of course, Peter is ever going with his quail projects. We've also had some baby goats that have been born. So when you look at tackling a huge list of projects, you have to realize that life goes on. We still have kids that we have to homeschool. We still have goats having babies. We still have other things. We have other things that take up our time. So we have to be patient with ourselves and encourage each other as we work together as a team here. So thank you for checking out this progress report from Honey Acres Homestead. I hope you enjoyed your tour, and hopefully when I do the next one, you'll see a couple more things checked off of that Honey Acres Homestead to-do list.